That works, thank you. Welcome to the meeting. We were expecting an election candidate to turn up tonight for 15 minutes, but he's not. He's got some other commitment, so we won't have a guest presenter. I think a lot of you have registered on the attendance sheet. If you could do that, if you haven't done that, please do that sometime during the night, so we know you've been here. We've had apologies from John Weaver and Bruce Smith. Any other apologies? Now, our secretary is not here, so is anybody able to take minutes of the meeting? I can draw out a pad and a pen.
Got a volunteer?
We're waiting for a volunteer.
I'll do it, but you're right, it's up and stuff, but I'll do it.
Okay, you want a pad and a pen?
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
That's this.
What's that? Remind.
Oh, yeah. Now, a reminder to everybody that this meeting is being videoed and the video will be published on YouTube as soon as I can get around to it, possibly tomorrow morning. And we had a journalist from the ABC turn up tonight. He had intended to stay for at least some of the meeting. He wants to know what the issues are that are affecting the residents of North Canberra, and so I expect that he'll be watching the video. Yeah. We also have an email from Rachel Stephen-Smith, the Minister for Urban Renewal and various other things. She says she won't be at tonight's meeting, so she wanted us to let us know that the community needs assessment is almost finalised and will be released shortly. Now that's one of the things that we've been pushing for quite a while. She also goes on to say, I recognise this is a delay compared with the original timetable, and this reflects time taken to ensure the report is accurate and up to date as possible. Work is also ongoing in regard to Common Ground. I will be back in touch as soon as I have more information. In the meantime, I'll ask my office to get in touch to organise another meeting with the NCCC working group to discuss options for the community reference group if that suits you. Apologies for the lateness of this note, which was sent after I'd left, or about the time I left home. So we do have a little update on section 72, which is good news.
Sorry, what's that on update on?
Section 72.
Section 72.
I'll give you the email, thanks to Sue, was it? Who brought that on? Now, I'll need a pen to do the next bit. Just do this one. Hello. Now, we haven't had a request to reorganise the agenda. Was that, Mike, would you like to say what we propose to do with the agenda?
Well, everyone should have a copy. I had it put there. What I did was put the community issues up front, which is what we used to do. I guess I was doing that community there. And put the business stuff towards the end because most people who come to these things are interested in the community stuff first. So,
Right. What do you mean by the community stuff?
well, I mean, whether you can see it from the list. It's the Dixon Library 50th anniversary, development application, community reports and updates. It's pretty much listed here.
Update on endorsement of resolutions?
Pardon me?
The update on Diction 72.
Well, that isn't listed in here, but, well, actually it's listed a bit later, but, actually I also have it on my thumb drive if you need that, but, for example, I've just pretty much reordered it, and we have the Dixon Library 50th, development application Dixon Towers, and basic reports that deal with, well, there's environment planning, Dixon Supermarket.
Which ones?
It's under number 6 there.
Under number 6.
Yeah.
Community reports and updates. Okay, so all right, so I'll have to use this one.
Yeah.
That one. All right, so we're doing... Is this a reformatted one that somebody's already prepared?
So yeah, I put this,
So this is not the one that was circulated to members. All right, so just let me read the sequence of things in this. Guest presentations, which isn't happening, attendance and apologies we've done, declaration of conflicts of interest, any to declare. All right, that's done. Now, the community issues, Dixon Library 50th anniversary, development application for Dixon Towers, then community reports and updates, items carried over from previous meetings, update on Dixon section 72, development application for the pavilion on the North Point, new items, NCCC website communication strategy, other community issues to raise, acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting.
now that's a problem because I don't have the draft, I didn't get the draft that could be circulated here. There's a very early draft.
Is that
I was requesting comments, so,
I don't recall seeing any draft
yeah.
of those minutes. So that will be a non-item anyway. Other business, now you've omitted a number of items. So where do you want to put them?
Well, I don't want to put them in,
You
actually.
don't want to put them in.
Yeah, there's no consensus on the committee. I think it's a lot of those things are things that we can refer to the committee.
Mike, did you
Sorry,
not
I'm
need
finishing
consensus
my,
on the committee?
finishing my sentence.
All right, finish your sentence.
What I said was, those are things that would be best deferred to the committee meeting. There's not consensus on the committee to discuss them.
Paul, would you like to say something?
Yes, please. Can I propose we stick to the agenda as it is? It's not perfect, can we just go with that? Otherwise we'll have no idea where we're up to.
And it's got most of the community stuff up the front anyway.
Could I ask where the appendix is that,
Hang on, we've got too many questions going on.
All right, so we have two different views. One is to go with this other agenda, which doesn't include the deed of agreement and yes, compliance with this Social Equity Corporation Act, which means we have to put them somewhere. Where should we put them?
We defer them to the committee meeting because the treasurer is here to address
You're
them.
discussing things.
And-
I'd like to move that we just go ahead with the agenda.
Yeah.
Well, can I, we have two options here. We can have the agenda as proposed by Mike.
I've no idea.
Well, why don't you read it, okay?
And
I can give you a copy, okay? It's quite simple. And actually, we go to the agenda as proposed by Mike. Still got other business in there.
It's just the order is different. Okay, actually, it's stuff that you'd be more interested in to be discussed first. So, anyone else have this?
It's just
Quite easier to read, actually.
Anyway, they're all up here if you'd like to look at it.
I just want to put the meeting on notice that I'd like to see on the general business about a serious issue we have with a dysfunctional committee, and that may be of interest to you.
I would also like to add to that our bank account when I looked on Saturday was, I'll give my version of the financial report. Our account balance was at 13th of April was $1,370. We had 26 cents of interest. Our expenditures from the 1st of February to the 13th of April were $190 purchase at Postdoc O'Connell LPO O'Connor. I don't know what that means. Food, that was $190. Food and drinks at committee meetings, $257. Debit card purchase, JB Hi-Fi Canberra, I don't know what that was, $40. We have more commitments than we have money in the bank. So I think the deed of agreement needs to be addressed because we might not be having any more meetings unless we have money.
Do I need to talk to this?
Well, you can, yeah.
I mean, tell me. Or maybe you can if you want.
Do you want to, sorry, Paul, would you like to say
I
something?
have my motion, we just proceed with the meeting as planned. I
Yeah.
just had a very quick comparison there. Things are missing. I'm not going to sit here and work out what's missing. Just go with this, because that's what people expect.
Okay, all right. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Yes.
All right, those in favour?
Wait.
Sorry. Does anyone want to speak for the motion?
No more than I said, seconder?
So somebody wants, we've got a seconder. Anybody want to speak against the motion?
Yeah, I'll speak against it. The previous agenda was set without the consensus of the committee. It raises a number of things that people disagree on, and at a public meeting, it's not something that we'd expect to concentrate on first. Our function is to communicate to the government and back community views and to deal with community issues. So that's the first thing we need to do. And when I looked at that agenda, it was all over the place. I said, okay, first thing we need to do, and this is what we used to do when I was chair, and I believe it when Dennis was chair, you put the community issues up front. Everyone who comes to a meeting, most people who come to a meeting want to talk about those things. They don't want to talk about the internal business and that sort. Now, of course, there are a few exceptions, and you seem to be one of them, but most people don't. They want to discuss community issues, okay? And that's what I've done. I've simply done that. And I might add, the agenda for last meeting was changed without me knowing it and anyone else knowing it. Here, I've informed the committees. I asked people, I think we should use this agenda for the meeting, and I also asked you twice. And what I said was I would print it out and bring it here. So I brought it here. It's a simple agenda. It's probably shorter than the other one, so easier to read, has fewer attachments, etc. And it organizes all the community issues up front that people would usually come to these meetings for, okay? If you want to stick for all the other stuff, feel free to stick around. But a lot of people don't want to discuss that, and they should be free to go early. If you talk about all this stuff up front, you're just going to turn everyone off, and they're not going to want to come to one of these things again. So, in a way, and the other one sort of mixed back and forth. So I've consolidated community issues up front, business issues in the back. If you want to talk community stuff and then leave, you can. If you want to stick around for the business stuff, you can. And as far as the business, I'm not quite finished. As far as the business stuff goes, there's not agreement on the committee on a lot of those business things. It tends to be the views of a particular person, I believe. There's a lot of other factors to take into account. We can argue all we want about that later, but I don't think it's appropriate to do it here, because in the past, when we've had committee members who have basically gone rogue, we didn't deal with it in one of these meetings. We dealt with it in the committee. And I believe that it's the wrong thing to just do all that in this kind of form.
Does anybody else want to speak in favour of the motion?
No.
Paul, you've already spoken in favour of it, haven't you?
I'm just saying I agree with Mike. I think the primary purpose of this committee is to deal with community issues, and I think this council, is to deal with community issues, and so I would agree with discussing the community issues up the front, and I also don't think that this forum is one in which will devolve into bickering, which I know will happen if some of these topics are discussed in a public forum. So I would be all for leaving out those issues that may be a bit contentious.
Anybody else want to speak in favour of the motion?
I speak in favour, and you know, the issues that we're talking about can still be done on business. We're not missing out on any discussion. We're just putting it at the end. So,
Jeff, you seem to be speaking against the motion.
sorry?
You seem to be speaking against the motion. The motion is
The
to proceed with the agenda as
I don't really care, I just want to get on with it.
Yes,
Yes,
all right, Paul, you can have about 1 minute to finalise. You've already had
No, if everyone's finished, I've got a right of reply. I move the motion.
Yep.
I'm going to stick to my motion. I actually generally agree that community issues should be up front, but I'm also agreeing with a voice I heard. We have dysfunctional things to deal with, and it's very important that this meeting deal with those up front, get them settled as quickly as possible, and get on with the real stuff that we come here for. But without dealing with those, it's like an elephant in the corner. They won't go away. And I don't believe the committee so far has dealt adequately with those. I think the general meeting has to do with those.
Okay. Anybody else to speak against the poll? That's right of reply. So
That's
there
not
any
right
wishes
reply,
to
sorry.
raise against the motion?
exactly clear on what the motion is.
The motion is that we proceed with the agenda as circulated by the secretary.
Okay, I don't have a copy of that agenda, so I can't vote it for
All
it.
right, okay. All right, those in favour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But you said you can't vote.
Which agenda are we talking
We're
about?
talking about the agenda that was circulated by the secretary.
Is that the one we were just given?
Yes, no, this is the one that I amended.
The one that, where you have the community,
Yes.
I'm only here for the community issues, and then I have to go.
Yes.
So if you're not going to discuss them until later, I'm going, I'm sorry.
All right, well,
Can we clarify, redo the vote so we know, people know exactly which agenda they're voting on?
all right, let's,
The agenda as
One's Mike's
circulated,
agenda and the other's the other agenda.
all right,
If you vote in favour of this, and might I add at the moment, it is usual that the chair does not actually vote on the issue.
is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think you can always
Yes,
use a
because
casting vote.
The chair actually
He has a casting vote if needed.
and that is a second vote that the chair has.
Okay.
Then we start again.
So, if you vote in favour of this motion, you are voting against this agenda.
If you vote in favour of it, you are
Voting against this agenda. You are
That's-
voting in favour of an agenda that I cannot hold up, that's all. If you vote against the motion, you are then voting in favour of this agenda. Is that clear of what I've said to everybody?
no, excuse
All
me.
right. Let me
Can we
clarify.
try that again? I want to vote for the agenda as circulated by email. I think it was yesterday or something like that.
Which I don't have a copy of.
Now, the agenda that we're voting on is the agenda that has, in my copy, at item 5, at item 6, deed of grant, and at item 7, compliance with the Associations and Corporation Act. That is the agenda.
The Dixon Library number 8.
Dixon
That's
Library
important, that's
number
what
8.
some people are here for.
Okay, and that's involved. So, those in favour of going according to that agenda, please raise your hands. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we proceed with the agenda as circulated by the secretary. We're already, now, acceptance of minutes of previous meeting. I don't believe that a copy of the minutes has been circulated to all the members or all the people who attended that meeting, so we'll have to defer that, I think. The next one is nominations for Vice President and up to 4 other committee positions. We have one nomination from Bruce Smith. Are there any other nominations?
We cannot do that at this meeting. That's supposed to be done at the committee meeting according to the Constitution by my reading.
Which part of the Constitution?
The one that deals with the election of members, as amended in 2016.
So the annual general meeting nomination, that was how it was produced.
Committee meetings. For the purposes of this Constitution, vacancy in the office. Now, the Constitution says further nominations can be received at the annual general meeting. If insufficient further nominations are received, any vacant positions remaining on the committee shall be deemed to be vacancies. If the number of nominations is equal to the number of vacancies to be filled, the persons nominated shall be taken to be elected, etc. That is under election of committee members. So I take that to mean.
Sorry, it sounds like you may have a different version. The one I read the other day specifically said, definitely with committee members, it said up to 5 could be done at the AGM, and then up to 3 outside.
Now,
Am I reading,
Yes.
please let me finish, my reading of that was that you may or may not hit the 5, but the only other option of putting people onto the committee is the option, is the option by committee meetings.
Now, that option is to co-opting committee members?
Well, I have a problem with that we are recirculating people, not getting new people. Okay,
Well,
I look at the
I'm not
present.
surprised.
Yeah.
We're arguing for hours.
Yes,
on
exactly,
agenda
and my agenda was designed to stop that.
But it's not,
Well, okay.
we need to stop the internal fighting. It's not.
It is going to keep going, Neil, if we keep having these kinds of agendas and we keep recycling people from all the committees. Now, I have said my piece.
So do you have a
And-
motion?
Yeah, I have a motion to defer that to committee.
All right, do we have
Why
a...
is it not at the annual general meeting?
Why? Well, it is at the AGM, but then anything else outside the AGM is done by the committee. Now, I had thought that it was done here, but it was when I read it, I went, oh,
The
it's done at
annual
the
general
committee.
meeting is not
Sorry.
finished.
Sorry,
Well, but we're not adding an annual.
Sorry, can I interrupt this and say, do you have a motion?
My motion is to defer it to committee.
Do we have a seconder for that motion? We have a seconder. Somebody you've spoken in, do you want to say any more in favour of the motion? Why don't you second, please?
Well, I actually think if we keep bringing people, if we keep airing this here, we're just going to make it worse. And we're just going to reduce the number of people here. The fact that we're actually having this conversation now is because we didn't agree to the agenda I suggested, which was to put community issues first.
Okay.
So if people want to have these public meetings to basically swirl around with this sort of thing, then we're going to just lose our membership and lose our attendance.
Right, now,
But the
And what I'm saying is these sorts of things, I'm just finishing up now, Leon,
okay.
they're better dealt with in committee, okay?
But the committee is not functional. I have been,
But
as a,
Walter,
I'm a member.
Walter, can you please keep order? Do you wish to speak against the motion?
I speak against the motion. I
Right,
have
yeah, speak
been an
against the
observer, as is my right, as a member of North Council Community Council on the last committee meeting. And this was shocking, it was oppressive, there was bullying, there was shouting, and it was not functional. And there was a nomination, and that was by 2 people rejected. So people who want to get onto the committee are rejected, and these are people who really have the interest to make the North Council Community Council working on issues which are concerned, which several residents in North Council are concerned with. So at the moment, from what I have seen, it's not functioning.
Right, then you finished. Can we have somebody to speak in favour of the
I
motion?
want to take
Now, I'm not quite sure on meeting protocols, do we have to have one-for-one, or can we?
No, you just pass to the next one. So someone-
Technically you do, but it is,
All right, so do you
There
want
was
to say
no reason
something
to
against
do
the
that.
motion, Paul?
Just very briefly, I'm against the motion. I'd rather you go on with the meeting as it is. All you did was call for nominations. You didn't actually say what the next part of the process was. If that goes to the committee, fine, we'll deal with that later. But for the moment, move on quickly. Are there nominations or not? Move on.
All right, now I would like to also speak. The Constitution makes it clear that a general meeting is a higher authority than a committee meeting. And so what I propose to do is to call for nominations and ask the general meeting to decide whether it accepts those nominations or not.
I don't believe that's in the Constitution, Neil, not for
That
vacancy.
specific provision is not in the Constitution.
then,
All right, so can we put the motion now?
no, because I still have a right to speak against it, and Mike has a right of reply if needed. Okay. Now, can I ask you please, where do you get the understanding that a general meeting has a higher authority than a committee meeting?
Because
Where in the Constitution does it say that?
it says, Article 11, be suspended from rights and privilege, that they can make a decision. That means they must give that member a right of correcting themselves at a subsequent committee meeting, and the appeal mechanism for the decision is a general meeting. The general
So
meeting.
this is you're talking about somebody that's been wrapped across the knuckles in one way, shape or form. Yeah, by the committee, and they have a right of appeal to the general meeting.
That's right.
But that doesn't infer that a general meeting has precedence over a committee meeting. That is a specific case.
I'm sorry, it does. In that case, it does.
Yeah, it's a specific case, but we're not dealing with that specific case, are we?
We're not dealing with
We're
that.
dealing with nominations.
Okay.
And look, okay.
All right.
And so I will speak in favour of Mike's motion that any nominations that may be accepted by the chair be deferred to the committee for their consideration.
All right. Can we have Jonathan to speak?
Just a comment first. We are trying to engage community in North Cumbria Community Council, and you are putting procedural crap in the way of these people joining the committee. Move on. Move on.
All right. Can I put the motion now? The motion is to defer the nominations of committee members and the acceptance of the nominations of committee members to the committee.
Well, that's actually in the Constitution.
Well, your interpretation is different from mine. All right, can we have all those in favour of deferring that? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, the motion is lost. Now, I'll call for nominations for the committee, and I understand that we have a vice president, deputy chair position, and 4 other committee positions vacant. Any nominations?
So, excuse me there, is there any way of doing a bit of a drive to get out the message out there about the fact that there are committee positions vacant and need to be filled? I don't think that this is really probably a very representative group of the whole of the
We've just done, we're voting on a motion, we're not, we've just had a motion, and we agreed that, did we agree that we would accept nominations and decide on them?
Is it possible, sorry, Dennis and Mike, I may not know the Constitution as well as you know it, but is it possible to put it on the agenda, nomination for the next general meeting?
Yes.
So that people have the time to consider to be nominated or to nominate? Is that possible? And I also would like to include, the annual general meeting is still not finished. It's more than half a year, and I'm a bit lost.
Well, now we have a third option, and that is not to defer the nominations to the committee, but to defer them to the next general meeting.
Is the nomination the same process? That has probably changed, but when I was in the committee or in the North Cumbria Community Council, there were nominations which have to be signed, and that was put forward, the nominations on the annual general meeting. So I'm a bit confused about...
If you want to be, the process for an annual general meeting is that people sign the nominations and hand them in advance of the annual general meeting.
Signed and seconded.
Signed and seconded.
Okay.
And then when we have those nominations, we look and see how many nominations we've got for the positions. If there are more nominations than positions, then an election is held amongst the people who have already put in their nominations. If there are not more, then they just accept it. And then if there are still vacant positions at the annual general meeting, the normal process is we call for nominations from the floor at the annual general meeting. If there are more positions vacant than nominations, then we accept all the nominations.
And if 5 people put up their hand, it was only 4 positions, you would again have an election.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
only for those people who had nominated from the floor, which is a little complex, but that's
Right.
it.
We haven't got even close to having
No.
enough people on the committee yet.
All right, now,
Some people want it, but
we have one nomination from Bruce Smith.
Isn't there a motion to put that this process be held in abeyance while there is a wider process to seek more nominations and it comes back to
Is
the
that
next general meeting?
can we put that,
That is the motion that has been put,
okay, you can
isn't it?
word it in this way,
Is that what you?
then I would put forward this motion.
Excuse me, what was the previous motion?
The previous motion was that we...
The first motion was that it goes to the
Jeff, can you
committee.
tell us what the previous motion
I
was?
can't keep up with you.
But that would, that,
What we were speaking to was that all nominations be deferred to the committee.
and there was
And
a
that was
motion and
rejected.
that was not
This-
taken.
This nomination is not deferring them to the committee, referring them to
No,
committee, it's
it
bringing
is-
them back here,
Yeah,
but not
just
this
not-
meeting
yeah.
and after there's been
Because
more
there
of a
is,
process.
obviously, people are not prepared for today, so maybe we can defer it to the next general meeting, and then people can consider nomination and be prepared for it.
That
Is
sounds
that-
reasonable.
Yeah?
Can I move an amendment to that motion? And that is that Bruce Smith, who has already nominated, be either accepted at this meeting or have his nomination referred to the committee. And that it not be delayed until the next meeting.
And I presume he has nominated for a committee member position.
Yes, that's right.
Is there any objections to that by anyone?
I have no objection.
I just think of treating everyone
Yes.
consistently.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody knows, I mean, I know who he is, but
We know,
don't,
yes.
so.
He's not even here to speak.
I think it is a good idea for him to be treated like everyone else, so. In the sense that if we're talking about, I mean, just being consistent, right?
Yeah.
All right, does somebody have a motion, please, that will clarify what we are going to do?
Do you want to put your motion?
Yeah. Yeah, good motion.
What Labour's motion was that the nomination not be considered at this general meeting, but be postponed to the next general meeting,
Okay.
and there be a wider process to seek more nominations in the
And who's going to conduct the wider process?
committee.
You.
maybe.
You and your committee.
Mike, do you want to conduct the wider process?
I'm not conducting anything.
Well,
Well, I actually can, but
how can we conduct the
I'll
wider
do it
process
myself.
without anybody
When you
doing
say
it?
about conduct the wider process, what do you?
I don't know. What does the
Send
wider
out an
process-
email to the.
Okay, I'll send an email out, jeez, okay.
I think residents groups
Yeah,
should be
actually,
contacted.
good point,
Well-
good point. Okay, I'll do it.
Why don't you contact the residents groups, see if
I-
the residents groups are interested in nominating anyone for the
I think I have contacted residents groups. Residents groups are not entitled to be on the committee unless the people who nominate are members of the North Canberra Community Council.
Yes, but
This-
I think you'll probably find that a lot of the residents groups are members of the North Canberra
The
Community
people in
Council.
them. And they would have received this agenda, which is calling for nominations for the committee.
I think,
Which
you
they
know,
probably wouldn't have read.
they probably would have read because there's just too much stuff in it that a lot of people don't find it.
Yes,
It's part of the problem.
We just want people on the committee, it doesn't matter how they get on it.
Well, apparently we don't want people on the committee.
Well, I think we want new people on the committee.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
my
All right,
favorite
can we stop that?
Yes, I know,
Someone
I'm
would
quite
like
happy to go if we can get more
to-
people.
Jochen would like to speak.
Had it.
We still have to finish an AGM from last year, which we couldn't finish because we didn't have proper
Jochen,
accounts.
can I?
And so we
Sorry, we're not
will
diverting
have
together
to
the
have,
whole thing.
we will have to have an annual general meeting anyway.
But that is a different agenda item, not one.
But we
we're talking
should
about.
have that, that's the meeting where committee members, and I think all committee members should be up for election.
Can that meeting be held in a month's time?
Oh, well, we
We
have,
hope so.
we have.
Okay, Jochen and everybody.
Dennis, can you let me
Yeah.
say something?
Yep.
We have adjourned the annual general meeting pending production of audited financial statements and an auditor's report. Now, would you like to say something else?
And that is the only piece of business that needs to be considered at that reconvened annual general meeting. There would be no other business to be considered by that reconvened annual general meeting.
Yes, there would be one item of business that could be considered, and that is nominations for the vacant committee positions.
It could be if, and it would be a big stretch, but if the meeting chose to do that. But there is no reason for, the only thing to do for the last annual general meeting is to consider an auditor's report and the figures. Yes, well, auditor's statements.
And that,
Because that's all that was not finished at the last annual.
We don't even have a public office.
can I do it now? Can we have a motion, I think? Can somebody read out the motion? Do we have a motion?
The motion was that this nominations not be considered at this meeting, but be held over to the next general meeting, and in the meantime there'll be a process to try and seek a broader range of nominations.
Now, what will that process be, and who is going to conduct it?
Well, I'm willing to contact some of the residents' groups and see if there's anyone on there that,
Okay, and you could prepare an email and send it to the secretary for sending to all our members at the same time, or